Battlefield 6 will take over the FPS world, not only with the story, but the multiplayer. They are doing some special things. And today I want to kind of talk about it, go through some information, and get you guys locked in. And this is going to be a game that I play a lot and cover a lot. So make sure you comment some things you want to talk about and make sure you like to show support. All right. So, first things first. Battlefield 6 comes out October 10th. You heard that, right? It is coming out very soon this year. They've been working really hard behind the scenes for a couple years. That's all I want to say about that, but it's special. Now, if you're saying, I don't really know, I can't really see what's going on, that's fine. On August 7th, they're going to have an open beta. They have a closed beta as well. You can go on Twitch and try to get in. And there'll be other ways by watching other viewers to get a chance to get in. When the closed beta happens, you'll be able to get in from there. All right. You'll have multiple betas that are open for everybody to join. And all you got to do is lock in for that. So if you're skeptical, that's fine. Play it for yourself. Don't even watch my videos and see if that's something that you want. Personally, I'm sold. And I'll tell you why. So first and foremost, you're watching the cutscene for the story. A very beautiful, powerful, heavy-duty story here, and they really took their time to make it special. And the story alone's worth it for me as far as everything that they've presented. And so I cannot wait to see it all unfold and experience the whole thing for myself. But that also is about gameplay, right? Like, we can't just sit here and act like, oh, that story looks interesting and that's it. It's a video game. So we're going to talk about the multiplayer, which I have footage of, and we're going to break down all of the different things that make this multiplayer special compared to previous years. So as you're watching this game, everything is pretty much destructible. So we can play in the same map multiple times, and I've experienced this, where you basically can destroy a building completely, or just make a hole in the roof, in the floor, and through the wall, destroy the whole thing, or just a piece of it to be able to have a good advantage. And this type of thing is going to be dynamic for everybody. And so even the playing field, just the level design is so well done. With this destruction, it adds different type of experiences, because some areas will be destroyed the next time you play that map. And so it just makes it fun and interesting for me personally. And that's something I'm absolutely excited about. And I do think that the community should also feel the same way, and then be ready to, celebrate the joy that you feel from those things. Another big part is they get it. Like, sometimes you want to go in with the shotgun and you just want to shoot some things and, casually play. And then other times you want to do sniping from far and play that way. Or if you're like me, you like just jumping in of some type of vehicle, whether it's a tank or just a truck, or even going into the jets. You have those options, and it just makes life so much better, in my opinion, for the game. And so this multiplayer understands that part 3 and part 4 were kind of like the best feelings, and we're getting that back this time around. And so it is legitimately top tier stuff. And then when we talk about the class system, each class will have unique items that make it special for what it does. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it is key, because then it just makes it more dynamic, right? You pull out an engineer, you're destroying vehicles, and then you pull out a recon, you want to try to snipe and get information for your team, and so many different things that are super cool and new and different. So those are the type of things that I like and that I'm excited for. And I do believe that, they finally understanding who we are, what we want as players on that level, And I wanted to kind of touch on the next topic when it comes to multiplayer specifically. These things are key. Every class is different. Every class has the unique feel, and the whole experience changes depending on how you want to play and the way you want to go. And so that is super key. And so they're doing a lot of good things with the movement, as you can see in the footage. You're running around and you can do some good overall tactical aspects and things like that. But it's important to note, these classes are very unique. When you're rocking a specific class like the assault, they have some dynamic experiences with what they're capable of. And it's key to kind of just take into account what type of play style that offers. They're going to break, things with this grenade launcher. They're going to get in, throw flashbangs. They're going to break the floor or even the ceiling and kind of flank in, use the stem to heal and just push forward and be the aggressor, let's just say, running and gunning with their play style. And that's a fun way to play. That's something that I think everybody will do at some point. But it isn't the only way to play, but it's a fun way. And like I said, the way they broke this down, in detail for the engineer, one of my favorites is destroying vehicles. You have an annoying tank that's trying to control an area. You have a tank that you need to heal and repair, for example. You can use your rockets, you can use all your devices and show support with arm ammo and health and reviving players. I love it. The support is also good, is what I'm pointing out and talking about here. Some of the stuff that they do is essential to the game. These things are very different compared to others. So Recon, for example, my personal favorite. I used to love putting the Recon the respawn beacons, but of course with a sniper you can be very versatile, take out people from very far. You have this drone who's moving very fast and very fluid. It can give you information. C4, my number one tool in Battlefield games, always. I don't know, I just love it. And the lasers are things that are unique to the Recon. Each of these classes have their own play styles, and it's very important to look at that and respect it, because that just means you're going to have a dynamic experience when you go in, depending on the style you want to play. So feel free to just experiment and enjoy and rock out. That's just something I personally love. And like I said, the thing that I think that they're doing and they've tested a lot of is giving us that dynamic experience. I can destroy an area, I can turn it into a different type of playing field, tactically destroy a wall and do all these different elements that are going to be helpful in the battlefield. But I can also have these close range, shotgun style areas that are very focused on that. Or I can go to the big scale stuff where I'm rocking out on a ship and just trying to dismantle and destroy everything I can. These are what make Battlefield special and what take it to the next level. A lot of people try to compare them to other games. It's like, look, they've been one of the most amazing first-person shooters. You don't want them to turn into others and try to copy them. Let them be original and stick to what they do. And I believe that they said, you know what, that's what we're doing this time. We're not going to try to follow a trend. Let's be who we are authentically and truly give the immersive experience for all players. And so, for example, the destruction you're watching, you can destroy a whole building if you have enough C4s or rocket launchers or whatever the case. Break down the floor of a building or even the roof, which is the crazy one that I thought was the most fun to see. You can use a sledgehammer to destroy stuff. I mean, I'm gonna walk around with that sledgehammer, guys. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, as you can see right there, just amazing Battlefield, authentic for what it is. And I think more games need to follow this trend where they stick to what you do best. Stop trying to be anybody else. Please just stop. That's what I think. And Battlefield is saying that. They said, hey man, you know what? If we might have failed you before, we can't fail you this time, because we're going to stick to who we are, how we are, and what we're doing. And that is key, right? It's the most essential and important thing in the game. And so, yeah. And then they talked about a lot of stuff in here when it comes to maps. And I wanted to kind of briefly present to you the things that we're talking about, having these close range setups. I know for me, some days I just want to go stick to the simple stuff and just running gun in a small area. Other times I love the magnitude of jumping on a jet, fighting other jets in the air, trying to shoot anybody down in the bottom, or taking a tank and becoming a wild style reckless man. And so all of those variations in the map and giving us some dynamic elements make it very special. You know, they even brought us to New York City, by the way. So this is where I think it's a W. And you'll be underestimating games if you didn't realize that, like, if a game, I'm not going to say no name, that's the biggest in the industry for FPSs doesn't have good level design and it's kind of bland, it can ruin some of your gameplay. The gameplay might be okay, but if you don't have the great level design, it's a problem. And you can see right here, very special game design when it comes to the overall. They have placement things in every area, and everything is well detailed to have a high experience, like very intense, very battle focused thing. You know, doesn't need to be a realistic simulation. It's really about a dynamic battlefield. That's what we play video games for. And they confirmed all of the different modes, which I've talked about a lot, and I do want to kind of point out what's returning and stuff like that. And so close quarter battles, team deathmatch, domination, squad deathmatch, and then king of the hill. Okay, that is fun. And then for the all-out war, they have the conquest, breakthrough, rush, and then a new mode called escalation. And then of course they're going to launch with 9 new maps that you've been watching and seeing everything that they've been doing, and it's pretty cool. I think it's a fun time to be a fan, you know, just for me personally. And you're watching escalation here. Basically, 2 teams fight to capture strategic points. As the teams expand their territory, fewer and fewer control points remain, controlling increasingly intense areas of battle. And then you get to that where both sides fight for control to all the way to the last point on the map. So you got all that stuff happening, and it's gonna be a spectacular time in my opinion. And they confirmed this new mode here, which we've seen Portal before, but this is new in the sense that they got new tools, new mechanics, where you're going to be able to craft your own setup in a new way, like this right here. I think it's going to be outrageous. This is going to be the game changer, because this is a part of the new modern day gamers. So everybody's creating more cool stuff on their own. And so I'm curious to see how this will play out. But it's an exciting time, and I think that they have a W game in their hands. I do think that this can even be a game of the year for me, just as far as how much fun I'm going to have playing the game. And it's an exciting time to get into all of that. But yeah, that's the rundown on some of these things. I do want to kind of point out, you know, I'm not out here partnered with EA on some sharing this information. This is truly authentically me as a big time, long time fan of this game, and I will be back at it, and we're gonna end up enjoying the full experience of the game very soon, and you can join me on that as well and have some fun. Hopefully we can build big teams. And I'm also going to be playing Battlefield 2046 nowadays, so if you want to come by the stream and pop in and play with me, that would be cool. All right, that's all we got for today. Make sure you leave a like and comment, subscribe if it's informative, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Stay blessed, take care of yourself, be good. We out. Peace.